Okay, so in the chapter 1 videos, we already went through a lot of parts of the program, of Excel program, but I wanted to go through some main ideas again. As I pointed out, then the spreadsheets are based on cells. This is called a sheet, a worksheet. The entire file is called a workbook. Uh, this is the ribbon up here, what Microsoft calls the ribbon, very familiar in a lot of programs. This is the formula uh, bar. You can get formulas from here also, by the way. And this is where you can see the formulas for a particular cell right up here. Here's the tabs for the different sheets. Right now I have 4 sheets open. Of course, you get scroll bars that go either way. This is a status bar right down here. And you can record a macro. So you can record the steps that you do something. Okay. I want to get down here. Okay. Down here, so you can choose different views, by the way. Most of the time you stay in the normal view. This little thing slider will make your spreadsheet bigger. And for the purposes of this video, I'm going to make it bigger so that I want you guys to be able to see what's going on so you can read my formulas and stuff as I go. I don't want you to be squinting at your screen. So I'll go ahead and make it bigger. Okay. The A's, the B's, the C's, and so forth. These are the column headings. The 1s, 2s, and so forth on the side are your row headings. Your rows are addressed by the column heading, row heading, and people find this pretty convenient. The letters mean column, the numbers mean row, and after a while you get used to that in spreadsheets. And that's called a reference. Like this would be B3. The reference to this cell would be B3. This would be A1. You can make a label for a cell. You can give it, I'll call it first. That'll label my cell. So now, let's put pi in the first. There we go. Come on. There it is. Pi. And then this can equal the label. I can type in the label if I want. Most people, when they get used to Excel, don't use labels. It's just more work, more time. Maybe when you're first starting, you might like those. Programmers might like them because they remind them of programs like Java, C, and so forth. Quick Access Toolbar, which contains things like save, undo, redo. Let's do an undo. Control Z also does an undo, and usually it'll say what the shortcut is. So undo, and then it also says up there Control Z. Here's a redo, Control Y. Most things will tell you what a shortcut might be. I'm going to do a copy, which there's my copy. Now I can do a paste. If I hold it over here, it tells me the shortcut, Control V. Shortcut for copy, Control C. Hold down the Control and the C key at the same time to copy. Control X, Control V. Let's see, Control X is that. Control V. You know why we use X, C, and V? X for cut. Well, that makes sense. C for copy, but why is paste Control V? Because it's the third letter next to the C. XC's V on the keyboard. That's how it was originally invented when the PDP-11 came out with this keypad editor. because they were all lined up on the keyboard. X and C made sense. So, let's just put the paste right next to it. Okay. And it just stuck around. The same thing with E for scientific notation. E means times 10 to whatever power, 24th power. There we go. And so the E means times 10 to the 24th, because in old-fashioned calculators we had 8 LEDs, and you could make a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but you couldn't make times 10 raised to some power with that, like regular scientific notation. So E reminds us of exponential, and so the designer said, oh, let's use those seven segments just to make a block E. You'll notice, if you make an E, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 more, and it fits in 8, if you square up the 8 in 8 box, if you ever take a look at an old calculator, you'll see that it takes 7 segments to make it. Here's why you want to use E. You want to be sure and use E. So let's take 1 times 10 raised to the 4th power divided by 1 times 10 raised to the 4th power. If you don't use E, here's what happens. What answer are you going to get? Think about that a second. Pause the video. Think about it. Okay, here's the answer. Not 1. You expect this formula to yield 1. You expect this to be 1. A number divided by itself should be 1, not 10 to the 8th. It has to do with the order of operations. Just like a normal calculator, it does multiplication and division left to right. It does the 1 times, and then exponentiation is a higher priority. So it exponentiates first, takes 10 to the 4th, and then 1 times 10,000. Then it does divide by 1. Then it takes that answer, which is 10,000, and multiplies it by 10,000 to get 10 to the 8th. To fix that, that's why the E was invented on, and you can use capital or lowercase e, by the way, as I've just shown a lowercase. That's why the E was invented in calculators and computers, so that it can represent scientific notation. This time you get the right answer. That's how calculators and computers fixed this problem, is with an E. Okay? I heard one student said, well, they ought to invent something special to take care of that. And I said, well, yeah, they did. Oops, I didn't want to do that. There we go. Get rid of it. You got to be careful. Sometimes when you're in the middle of a formula and you click another cell, it just inserts the reference to that cell when you don't want to do that. And it got rid of my scientific notation. It converted it automatically to. Yeah, I'll fix that. It won't get away from scientific notation this time, I don't think. Okay, there we go. Now let's see if it's, yes, it kept my scientific notation this time. Well, anyway, a student said, one of my students said, well, they should have figured something out to fix it. I said, this is the fix. This is what they came up with. And it's just been convention ever since to do it that way. Okay, it sounds like a good place just to pause for a second and to Stop the video, go to the next video.